Back to this week, the leak of sections of the Covenant school shooter's writings has angered and alarmed even those calling for the release of what are public police records. Covenant parents, though, are fighting to keep the so-called shooter's manifesto out of public view. We spoke with Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell about the leak.
The reaction, we could feel it in our office, and people that I am still in touch with that are a part of the Covenant school community. It's still a very fresh trauma for this city, and so I think to see a violation of where the Covenant families that have been trying to protect their own interests and the victims, many of whom are children, there is a legal process playing out right now, and so that's why one of the things we wanted to make sure we were doing is looking at how what we felt might be illegal release of images could have even happened in the first place. And that's kind of our first thought was, let's make sure that we continue to focus on connecting families that have been traumatized to resources that can help with that, and then also let's make sure that we have an independent review of how these materials, which are under court-ordered seal right now, could have found their way outside of the legal process.
The leak of some of the Covenant school shooter's writings is being investigated by Wally Dietz, Metro's legal director.
We're honestly still trying to figure out, because there were so many first responders, because this did involve local, state, and federal law enforcement. We're trying to figure out where sort of the jurisdictional authority is for this. We know that MNPD is exercising their own internal review, but I know Director Dietz has been in contact with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and we'll see where those conversations happen with, not just the law enforcement side of it, but the legal process alongside law enforcement.
There is concern about the leaking of more images from the shooter's so-called manifesto.
I really don't know. At this point, I can't even comment on the veracity of what has been out there. I have not looked at these images, don't plan to. I think, if anything, where this has taken me is if we expect the legal process to play out. I mean, at some point, very likely, the court will find one of two things. Either the victims have the right to protect these, and then it will be up to how many unauthorized images get leaked, or they will be classified as public documents, at which point they'll be released in whole. But I'm, like our Metro Nashville Police Department, trying to follow the law and make sure we don't further injure victims of this horrible incident.
So was the leak about monetary gain, making money off images of mass murder?
I hope this is an accidental situation rather than an act of malice, or even worse, sort of an act of, as you mentioned, potentially selling things. It would just be, I can't even imagine what would be going through somebody's head who would sell unauthorized images knowing that they might re-traumatize families, including children, who have been a part of this victimization process. I'm similarly concerned that there has been so much conspiratorial discourse around this. I mean, state legislators here in Nashville have had the opportunity to review these materials, and if you have conversations with state legislators, they are not stoking the conspiratorial mindset that is out there. And I kind of hope that this was not something that somebody put out there to further conspiracy theory of some.
The documents in question are public records of the police investigation into the mass shooting at the Covenant school that routinely would be made public.
Well, I want to be clear. The reason for that has been that the families have been deeply involved in this, both the family of the shooter, but also the families at the school. That's the reason that the documents are not public documents at this time, has to do with their pursuing their rights as victims in court, and we have no intention of interrupting that. If the court finds that they're a public document, I imagine they will be released in whole at that time. But right now, I think it makes a lot of sense to me that in the interest of both public safety and victims' rights, we want to let that process play out.